All right, ready to go?
Rock boards.
Can I get a members only jacket with a Mr. Texas logo on it?
Nice.
That's what you need. Oh, we got to bring that back.
Yeah, world's oldest.
Yes, and Cashflow and Captain Cashflow.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, folks. Captain Cashflow. I haven't worked on the accent in a while, but it's Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Got it.
So I'm going to have a whole... I need to go back to Etsy and find all the cosplay pirate stuff and go ahead and order all of it for these events. Because there's going to be puppies and beer at the event.
Yep.
And then Captain Cashflow and the oldest real estate
And the
investor.
world's oldest real estate guru. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you going to get a... You ought to get a member's jacket with our logo on
I'll
it.
get a members only jacket. I'll get a pair of rock boards, some beige khakis, and we're good to go.
They've got to be pleated and cuffed and 3 sizes too big.
Yes. And on the back of my members only jacket, it has to say "I buy houses."
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. You know what you could do? I buy houses, and it's got a phone number, and it starts with 911.
Yeah, there you
and see how many people dial it after about 7 beers.
That is, yeah. I mean, there's still reels where you walk in, and there's the guy with the windbreaker, and he's got the, I buy houses.
I buy houses, right?
All right, okay.
I see those guys in the cars, and they're driving around town. It's like a Pontiac Aztec. It's missing both bumpers. And
Yeah, it is
like,
an Aztec.
I buy houses.
I've seen the Aztec. Yeah.
It's, car's a wreck. I buy houses. I'm like, you need to buy a car.
You know what I love? I love when they cut you off.
Oh,
So they just cut in front of you and
Yeah.
take off. I'm like, oh, there you go. That's good advertising. Yeah, let's make sure we have that on there.
Good job there, buddy. Good job. The joke is when we had Houston house buyers, we would not put decals and stuff on the car because our guys do drive like animals.
Right.
But then here's the other problem. A lot of people don't realize this. Once you put that on there, you're advertising you buy one of the most expensive assets an American will ever own.
Right.
So when I worked for Waste Management, a lot of people don't know this, but Waste Management trucks, like their garbage trucks, they got the big green logos on them. Their dumpsters have the big green logos. They're beautiful, right? But their repair trucks are these like F-250. I think they're F-250s. I don't know. They're 1-ton trucks with like a big box on the back, the big tool chest, so they can carry all the tools, to work on the trucks, right? If they break down when they're on the road. They don't have any WM logos on them because one of the things they figured out is people will pull out in front of their vehicles and slam on the brakes and they'll rear end them. So they figured out years ago, there's just certain vehicles they don't put their logos on because it's like it's just going to end up in a lawsuit and a settlement. So now your garbage trucks, obviously people can still do that, but their garbage trucks have cameras on them, all this other stuff. So when you do that, you're a house buyer and you put all this stuff on your vehicle, just know you're probably inviting some lawsuit. You will get into an accident and they'll go, oh, this guy, he's got plenty of money, right? He buys houses. So just be very careful when you start putting all your realtor stuff on there. You start putting all your, you're advertising this vehicle as a commercial, part of your commercial fleet.
I always think it's a catch-22 because if you truly buy houses, then, having it on the Aztec is the worst thing in the world. You're like, who is this schmo, right?
Yeah.
But do you really want to sticker up a Mercedes?
No, in Texas... It's
truck,
so
right?
funny. It's a truck.
truck. Yeah.
You can buy the most expensive truck. Like you can buy a King Ranch F-350 $100,000 truck and sticker it up. No one will bat an eye at it. You do it on a used $20,000 Mercedes, and they're like, "Whoa, what is this guy doing here with
Right. Yeah.
cufflinks and nonsense?"
Yes.
Right? Like nobody bats
French cuff.
Yeah, nobody bats an eye at a
Non-tuck.
$100,000 truck. Like, oh, this guy's successful. He obviously works for a living because he's got a truck.
Yeah.
Let's be honest right now. I don't use my truck for anything other than like bikes and coolers full
Sure.
of beer. Right?
Yep.
It doesn't. It's not like a work truck.
It's Texas.
It's Texas, right? But if you're rolling around a Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, something like that, even if it's just the entry $30,000, $40,000 model, like people are going to look at that and go, I don't want to do business with this guy because he's getting me somewhere.
Yeah.
Because all the other guys that have come by have got trucks because they're successful business owners.
Right. Now,
Nobody
but
bats an eye at
oddly,
that.
conversely, if you're a real estate agent and you're going on a listing appointment, showing up in a Honda Civic, also, like, well, how successful is this person?
Right. Well, it really
Right.
depends on the price point, right? That you're
Right.
selling those houses at.
So, agents have got to be running out there with Lexus
Yeah.
BMWs. That's the sort of standard.
A lot of agents too, they need a comfortable mid to full size luxury SUV, right?
Yes.
Because they're driving people around.
Yep.
Now, maybe not now in the post-corona world, but you do need to have that vehicle.
That was the Lexus, the X5, right? Yeah, the ML, Mercedes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's go to any CE class or HAR meeting or whatever,
right.
HAR meeting, and just look at the parking lot. That's probably what you need to buy. Yep. The guy's going to be driving trucks.
Yep.
For the most part, and the gal's going to be driving full-size SUVs, right? It's just kind of part of the deal.
Well, welcome tonight. This is Robert and Jason. We're with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about our buddy Elon making a little news.
You know what that was? It was a trolling post to the SEC.
Yeah.
So I posted on Facebook. Elon came out and said in their latest SEC filing. So the way publicly traded companies work is a couple of different. They have to publicly disclose a couple of things.
Yep.
They have to produce quarterly and annual reports, 10Ks and 10Qs. If I remember, my MBA is probably, the ink is flaking off if I get the nomenclature wrong. But anyway, so they have to report in quarterly and annually. They also have to report whenever there's a material fact that must be disclosed to investors.
Right.
So something changes. This could be in the middle of the quarter, could be in the middle of the month, whatever. And then they have a certain time period where they have to go, hey, investors, this is a material fact.
Sure.
In other words, it may change the valuation of your investments. Yep. And so they have to disclose it in a certain time period. These rules change all the time. But anyways, so they came out and basically said, Elon, although he is going to keep title as CEO, he's also going to keep the title as Techno King. And then his CFO, they call, what is it? Something ruler of the coin? What is his technical, it's still CFO, but he's got an additional title. What is it? I thought it was ruler of the coin. What's it from?
The keeper of the coins or the coin master or the...
master of coin, I think is what it is. It's from...
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's from Game of Thrones. Master of Coin, I think, is what it is.
Let's look it up. Anyone know? Want to hit us up?
So, a bunch of investors and a bunch of old grumpy rich guys threw a fit over the fact that Elon is now Techno King of Tesla, and his CFO is, I think it's Master of Coin, isn't it? It's Master of Coin.
There you go.
So they're all throwing a fit. And I said, you know what's funny? This is what I posted on Facebook. You know what's funny? Is he just took all that C-suite nonsense and threw it out the door. Because it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm CEO. I'm CFO. I'm CEO, and I'm so self-important. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm building rockets and cars and all that, and we're just having fun here. Like, don't get me wrong. They take their stuff very seriously, especially when it comes to safety stuff. But they're like, we can't have fun with this. Elon said a million times. They said, Elon, why did you launch? So if you guys don't know this, whenever you're testing rockets, one of the things you have to do is test payload. So one of the ways they do that is they'll use like a block and then shoot the block up into space.
Right.
Well, instead of shooting the block, they took his original #1 Roadster, put a spaceman in it, made a model of a mini spaceman to put on the dash, and launched that out into space. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, why'd you do that? He was like, I don't know, it sounded cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
He was like, what's cooler than like launching the first Roadster ever built with a spaceman in it, and then on the dash, we made a model of the spaceman and the Roadster. And all these people are sitting there. They're all serious science reporters. And they're like, we don't think that's funny at all. He's laughing. He's like, I thought it was pretty funny. One of his guys suggested it in the office. It's like, yeah, let's go launch the Roadster.
You're the second richest guy in the world. You kind of get some liberties, right? So.
Well, it's funny. It's like, I don't know, Elon, why don't we launch the car you drove to work today on the rocket? And he goes, all right, sounds good. Let's go do that.
Hey, guys, this is Robert and Jason. We're with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate Group. And this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hey, we got a new website. You got to go check it out. We've gone ahead and done some updates. mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr. TX is in Texas, and RE is in realestate.com. mrtxre.com. Go check us out. Hey, we'll be right back.
Okay. You want to bring us back, A-Rock? Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Rob and I are on what's called the 75 Hard Challenge. And part of that is you have to drink a gallon of water. So sometimes you do the show for a segment or so by yourself. So anyway, what I loved about this whole Elon thing is everyone takes this C-suite nonsense so seriously. Like you're going to these networking events and someone will hand you their business card and it says CEO, founder. And they'll hand it to you and it's like Equity Investment Trust, Golden Capital Group, LLC. And you read this thing, you're like, wow, this business card is really, really impressive. And then you ask the guy, like, well, how big's your company? Oh, it's just me and my wife. And the funny thing is, whenever I hear somebody say they're CEO, I always ask them, like, what's CEO mean? Oh, it means Chief Executive Officer. Like, okay. How many other executive officers do you have? Well, it's just me and my wife. It's like, she's a treasurer and the CFO, and I'm CEO. And it's like, guys, you're making this way too complicated. It's not this house buying thing, and even the apartment business. Until you get into like the really big hedge funds and REITs and stuff, it's like, guys, we're just buying some assets here. We're just buying a $20 million apartment building. We're just buying a $5 million office building. It's like you don't have to, I don't know. The way I look at it is it's like people just try to impress themselves or their friends. It's like, and Elon is so funny about it because he's like, all right, I'm going to be the techno king.
Right.
And then my CFO is going to be master of coin. And of course, what's going to happen? 6 months from now, he's going to come up with a whole bunch of new titles and they're going to file another SEC filing just because it's like, you guys take life just because you all take this way too seriously.
Yeah.
He is changing mankind, right?
He sure
like
is.
it's not even funny the things that he's going to do with the rest of his life, right? I mean, we're going to look back in this. We'll be naming schools and planets and moons after this guy. I mean, this guy he will be synonymous with moving the human race forward in incredible ways. And he's not even taking himself that seriously, right? It's like, we can have a little fun here. Real estate is not that serious. So anyway, I've been enjoying a lot of his stuff lately. It's been pretty funny. But anyway, so that's the theme of today's show. Don't take stuff seriously, I guess. I'm giving some advice right now on Facebook for folks that are asking me. I'm getting this really interesting question right now.
He is Zephyrin Cochrane.
Is that
You know who Zephyrin Cochrane is? Zephyrin Cochrane is the fictional scientist in the Star Trek universe who discovered warp speed.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Took us out to the galaxies.
It's funny. I was watching him do that interview with that, I think he was a 4-star general in the Air Force. And
oh, yeah.
You can tell when people are intimidated. And don't get me wrong. I mean, 4-star general, that's ridiculous, right? Crazy successful guy, right? But you can tell people are intimidated around him when they come up with these like verbose questions that are just they meander on and on and on. And Elon just looks at him, and he's gotten so good at it. I imagine he's got a media person that's really kind of tuned
trained
him
him, give him that deadpan no.
Yeah, or just like, or you could tell in the back of his mind, he's like, "This is a really stupid question, but don't let your face say that it's really stupid."
Yeah.
So this guy's going on, and it's just literally like 5-minute long question, right? And Elon just says, it'd be really cool. When are we going to get Starfleet Academy? I'd really like to know when we're going to get.
When's that happening?
When's that happening? And he was like, well, technically it's the Air Force Academy, which is where Space Force is headquartered. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. So it was interesting, but it's like people are taking this really seriously.
Well, I think the answer, and I watched that interview, and I thought that was a great interview, and I saw that spark. So he went up against a 4-star general in the Air Force and said, when are we going to do Starfleet Academy? And the Air Force general said, basically, we're not.
Right.
And so, that opened the door for who to do it now.
Who's going to do it?
Elon.
Yeah.
They're building a spaceport in Boca Chica, right? They're building a massive spaceport down there.
Well, and it's interesting is when you look at the pilots, if you will, is probably a better way to put it. The pilots for space exploration for the last 100 years, it's not 100 years, last 50 years, have all come out of the Air Force, right? And Navy. Obviously, Navy has some of the better fighter pilots simply because they have to land on a floating boat, right? So what's the next step? Well, it makes sense. The U.S. government built the space shuttle. It's a government project. Now we're turning this into a private enterprise.
Yeah.
So who's going to be best to train on Starship? It's going to be SpaceX, right? So it only makes sense that there will be a private public enterprise that is going to do all the training for all the space related activities. So it's going to be not, and that's just not flying them. It's servicing them.
Yeah.
It's everything.
There's a lot of work that goes into that when you're going to build a new civilization. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was great. I saw the couple YouTube videos on it. I thought it was hilarious. And again, if you haven't been following, like a week ago, some troll put some fake news out, like literally fake news, like 100% absolutely fake. That we regret to inform you on the death of Elon Musk, right?
Oh, that's terrible.
And they put that out there, and the stock dipped about 70 points.
Wow.
It dipped because CNBS is out there telling everyone that there's a report coming in, or this is suit. The other one was some guy is suing Elon, trying to do a class action lawsuit, or look it up, about his violation of SEC rules on Twitter. And it's a nonsense lawsuit, right? But people were reporting it out there. These real news organizations reporting that the SEC is now investigating Elon, and boom, the stock takes a dip.
Yeah.
So, the criticism about business channels is these guys are in the know.
Right.
Right? If you're shorting Procter and Gamble, and I just run a little 2-minute commentary on, I'm concerned about Procter and Gamble. We've really got to see these numbers. And I don't know when you're doing all the shorting, and I don't know you're doing blah, 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 but I know I just helped you, right? All that stuff can't be proven. This is why you cannot win on Wall Street. Like you and I, the average investor, we're not going to win there. The game is rigged.
Yeah, it's one thing to consider with regards to stock related stuff. One of the things they tell you is you sell the news and buy the rumor.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. That's exactly what's going on with Bitcoin. We're buying the rumor.
Yep.
Like, I listen to a lot of Peter Schiff stuff. His economic analysis is amazing. What his predictions sometimes don't make sense. But one of the things he said, and I think this is totally true, Bitcoin is the only, I want to make sure you guys understand this, the only negative yield currency. What does that mean? Now, the only reason it's going up in value is more people are buying it, but you can't use it. Why is it a negative? It takes money to maintain the network. Meaning you have to keep verifying the transactions, verifying the coin. It's part of the miner's job.
The blockchain, yeah.
It's part of maintaining the blockchain. So you're paying by an owner of Bitcoin to maintain that blockchain. It's technically a negative yield currency. It's the only one that's like that. So, but the whole idea that this is going to replace everything is ludicrous.
Right.
However, everybody's buying it, right? Which is why it's going up. And you could look at a lot of the stuff in the stock market.
I bought Doge.
You bought some Doge. I think you just like the...
I like that, yeah. Anyway, hey, this is Robert and Jason. We're going to talk more about this stuff. I think we might talk a little bit about real estate in the next half hour. Maybe not, because real estate's pretty boring. Anyway,
we can talk about sheetrock.
Yeah, hey, we'll be back. Oh, I'm going to tell the story about our mastermind member last night.
What are we doing for lunch? That's
It's coming. It's ordered.
Oh,
Caesar salad and a sandwich.
there we go.
Lots of cookies, chips that Rob doesn't eat.
Roast beef and arugula sucks at Panera Bread.
No. In your opinion.
In my opinion, no, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not that good. No, the steak and arugula.
Oh, it's steak and arugula.
Yeah. And I like it, except it's the little jelly or whatever they put on there, right?
I don't know. I don't like arugula, and I don't like what's that bread they're putting in everything? Ciabatta bread. I hate that. All right, ready to go?
Bring it back in.
All right, welcome back, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Ciabatta bread is too hard and too thick. And then arugula is just like, you went out, not even cut your grass. You went out and found all of the weeds. You know how we get those weeds that are real spiky and kind of tall?
Yeah.
It's like you took all that and shoved it in a sandwich.
Yeah, because it's really hard to produce lettuce.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're eating kale now, right?
Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, what's that South Park episode about the salad? It was that was
Oh, that was
Family Guy.
Italian salad. That's so
Italian.
good.
You need to go pizza place Italian salad.
Yeah.
And it's like every salad place I go to, it's like, let's find the veiniest, thickest, nastiest part in
Throw
this
it in there.
and throw it in there, right? It's like all the salads lately have been so disappointing. I'm like, can we not grow a head of lettuce in Corona? Is the Corona infecting the lettuce at this point?
It's hard.
I don't.
No,
So Blake has got me looking at ranches right now, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to start growing my own lettuce.
Nice. Well, we don't have the dog anymore, so I have this little patch of dirt, and I just cut down the trees, so it's going to get 100% sun.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, man, let's go get some cedar wood and lay some beds out, and just let's do our own gardening back there. But then, you know, I don't even have time to read 10 pages last night. I'm thinking, well, when am I going to have the garden?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a little, in 33 months, I'll definitely have a garden.
Google that. It's really interesting. Basically, you maximum crowds out all the weeds, so you don't have to do as much weeding and that sort of thing. It's very, very interesting. So anyways, that's my gardening tip for today. I'm done.
So I had a fun phone call last night.
Okay.
So we did Jason's property hunt.
We did do that.
If you're a member of the mastermind, once a month we consolidate all the deals that have come through and stuff we have, and we're going to wholesale them, or we're going to get it listed in your name, all that good stuff, right? You get the agreement in your name. And there's a great deal we found. Mm-hmm. We found a really good deal. I'm not going to say where. I'm not even going to say the amount of apartments, but it's a good deal. It's one of those where you should use your conventional loan for.
Right.
Right? You want to get that 4% loan. And with 30-year AM and whatever, 10, 15% down. So the person that's doing it is brand new to the mastermind, just within 2 months. Mm-hmm. But this will have them based on some of the stuff they already have. He'll be really close to 20. And he'll be done for the year. He's done.
Yeah,
he can get done in the first 3 months. But he's a really smart guy.
Yes.
Right, which wants to know why the bread wants to understand how bread is cooked versus just following the recipe, right? And that's one of my favorite new idioms here, just little descriptions is, there are people who want to understand bread. You need a chemistry degree, you need a biology degree, you need to understand economics, you need to understand supply chains, you need to understand a whole technical stuff, the kitchen, there's a whole bunch to understand. Like that guy Alton, right, who does the food show. He breaks it all down, the chemistry and everything, right?
I could watch Alton for days. It's always amazing,
so
right?
It's all that stuff, or do you just want to make a loaf of bread and follow the recipe?
Yeah.
Right?
So Jim Rohn says it this way. You can study the roots,
right,
how the tree actually produces fruit, or you can just go pick the fruit.
Pick the fruit, yeah.
It's up to you.
Right.
And a lot of people want to study the roots. And I'm like, I get the academic exercise, but while you're studying this, everyone else is picking the fruit. So just go get the damn fruit.
Engineers, masters of engineering, all these degrees, like that's what they're trained for, right? The understanding. Right. We're not doing that in the mastermind. We're like, here's the recipe. Oh, you want to do Airbnb? I got a recipe for you right here. Go follow it. I don't know about market trends. I just know that when I do this, we're good to go. Yeah. And I use this software. So, really smart guy, and he went through and he was just talking to me about stuff, and he called me up after the thing, and he's like, well, look, I'm nervous, right? This is my first one, and I don't feel like I know everything I should know. So a guy like that will never know everything.
And you were like, hey man, I got bad news for you, brother.
Well, I told him this.
You're not.
I said, well, two things. I said, one, Jason and I aren't going to let you get beat on this one. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we want it.
Yeah, we'll buy it.
So if you at any point you too much, we're going to come in and take the deal. Mm-hmm. Right? So one, you're not going to get beat on it. Your exposure right now is I just learned is $3,000. That's your total exposure on a almost $400,000 deal at this point. So there's very little exposure. And then I said, two, I'm like, so I'm the worst guy to tell me you're nervous about doing something new because I start by laughing. right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm laughing at him on the phone. I'm telling him not to worry. Then I said, number two, I'm glad you have anxiety. I'm glad you're nervous. Good.
Yeah.
I hope you don't sleep at all tonight, right? Because
Yeah.
there's all these things running through your head. It's supposed to be that way.
That's right.
That's what happens when you go out and start something new and start building wealth. You get nervous on these first few transactions, and then once you realize all I'm going to do is follow the recipe and not worry about how yeast actually rises, and you're just going to go and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat. So when people tell me that, I'm always like giggling, I'm clapping, I get really excited. I'm like, good, I'm glad you're nervous.
That's right.
And your wife should be nervous, and you guys should all be freaking out over there.
Nobody should be sleeping. It's always if you're expecting to do something new,
right,
and it not be part of that excitement is nervousness, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, oh, this is exciting. What are we doing?
Yes.
Like you and I really don't
Nervous
get excited.
excitement, yeah.
We really don't get excited over deals
Not
anymore.
too
It's
much.
not like,
It's
woo.
very boring for
But
us.
So, but you'll get to that point where it becomes routine. But it doesn't. What I find fascinating is the folks who join us as investors in our mastermind group. You always have to ask them, like, when was the last time you did something new? Because this is the same thing. And they start looking back and they're like, yeah, it's been a long time since I've done something completely kind of outside of my work and, my regular routine. I'm like, it's going to feel like this. It's supposed to. It's a natural human emotion.
Guess what? You're nervous. Good.
Yeah, good.
Good. Let's get this one done and go do more.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how to get over the nerves?
Yeah. You buy a
just
bunch
do
of
more.
houses. Yeah.
You
but
do
by
more.
3, you should be over it.
Yeah. This is one of the things that Tom used to say. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it.
Yep.
And then that's a self-perpetuating cycle, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it. It's this loop goes over and over. This is why when I hear people say, passion in life,
Yeah, what's your why?
you got to find your passion and just do that. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Unless you go out and do something, you don't know if you like it or not.
Right.
Reading about it doesn't do anything. You've got to go out and do. Yes. Then you figure out if you like it, and if you like it, you get good at it. You do more. It's just a cycle over and over again.
Yeah. Hey, this is Robert Jason from the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate Organization. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hey, if you guys want to reach out to us about our mastermind or any of that stuff, and I'll go over a few points. Yes, we help you find the deals. Yes, we help you find the money. Yes, we help you manage it. Yes, 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 yes. And our goal is to make 250 real estate millionaires. We want to create $1 million worth of wealth through real estate while you're with us over the next 5 years. If you're interested in that, check out our website, mrtxre.com. Go to the mastermind page. Got some Q&A and some other information there for you. When you're ready to join, go ahead and text us at 281-408, 281-401-9008. Just text mastermind. And we have 3 spots left for the months of March. And we'll be doing a push. Got some big announcements coming up about small apartments, which should be pretty exciting once we get some paperwork filed on that. But we want to see you guys succeed. We want to see you get some small apartments. We want to see you get some single group that is about doing. Then you want to join us. Again, this is Robert and Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Who is that? Is that Donna Summer?
Oh, let's see. What are we doing here? Yep.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate Organization.
My turn.
And we're just we're talking a little bit about Elon. We're talking a little about just kind of getting over some of your fears, getting moved on some stuff. But again, we maybe I'll take this segment here, A-Rock, and we'll do the survival versus growth, and that becomes a big problem. So when we do our mastermind preview, and we're doing them live now at the Texas Real Estate Investment Center, One of the things we explain is, hey, we need you to be making six figures or more. We need you to have capital to deploy. We need you to have good FICO, right? And we want that because I don't want you worried about survival, right? And I get it. I was there, right? I was down to my last $6,000. I haven't heard the story. I'll tell it another time. I was $6,000 with a $12,000 bill due at the end of the month, right? And I had no more reserves, I had no more cash. So I understand what it's about to having to survive, right? Having to move forward while you're trying to survive. It's very, very difficult because your concentration is on, hey, where's the next dollar coming from? Where's the next dollar coming from? How do I get this? How do I get this? How do I survive, right? And when you're in survival mode, sometimes you're going to make bad decisions, right? And everyone. You're going to take bad loans. You're going to do bad deals. You're going to get yourself into jobs you don't like, but you're just trying to survive, right? So you got food you're going to need food. You need a roof over your head. You may have a family. You've got to take care of all these things. So thinking about growth while you're just trying to survive becomes a problem. And people who are constantly grinding in the survival mode just naturally think, well, I'll just go bigger target. I'll jump into real estate and I'll grind there. And it becomes very, very, very difficult, which is why there's such a massive failure rate in the real estate investment world. Mm-hmm. You cannot be trying to survive while you grow. It doesn't work. It's too hard for most people who are not living with their right? Blake was in here from Capital Concepts. We talked about this 15-year amortization on how, hey, at the end of 7 years, I've got another 25% of my equity paid down, and I bought it deep. So I'm at, maybe 60 to 70% equity in the house. I can sell one to pay off two more, right? That's that strategy that we're looking for. And the big thing means, hey, I'm not worried about survival. Now, will you get laid off when, oil drops under $25 a barrel? Yeah, we get it. That's fine. But you'll have your properties there. You can always do refis on them and take some of the equity out, survive. That's a good instinct. That's a good thing to do versus, robbing from Peter to pay Paul just to find, you don't have enough money in reserves to get the property. So again, if we're in growth mode, then we have our bases covered. We're able to live. We take care of our family, our mortgage, our house, all that stuff. Maybe we're going to skip a few vacations and we're going to save that money and we're going to put it into real estate. Great. That's not a big sacrifice. That's not a big thing. But being able to move forward with growth, right, is going to be a lot easier than trying to move forward in survival mode. And we've been there. And I don't have at this point in my career, I don't have anything really to tell you that's new. If you don't know how to sell or market, then go buy some sort of direct sales or multi-level marketing program. Learn from them. Get your skill set going. Become a real estate agent. Hustle around as a real estate agent, and you can get up there and start moving. But that's going to take 3 to 5 years, and then at the end of that 5 years, then you're going to be able to move into growth mode. So if you're broke and you want to be a real estate millionaire, I think the path is 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, you can, and that's totally doable. Could be faster now if you've got a little bit of talent.
If you're 25, you're done by the time you're 32. That's fine, right?
Yeah, retire
45,
at 32.
you're done by the time you're 52.
Totally doable. If you are dead broke, terrible credit, you can absolutely turn around in 5 to 10 years.
I just posted my 800 FICO.
Yep.
Took me forever. It really did. It took me forever, right? And so I'm super happy about that. And then all of a sudden, things are changing for me, right?
Yep.
So all of a sudden, my interest rates can get lower on some of these non-QM products and portfolio products. It's all very, very good. It just takes time. Okay?
Yeah, it takes time doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
You got to be doing the right thing. And if you're going to and if you're going to another wholesaling webinar or you're going to a how to flip a house webinar, and it's like, dude, stop wasting your time. Get your real estate license. Start buying and selling some real estate. As a consequence of being a real estate agent, you will have deals presented to you.
Right.
And those are the ones. And here's the other thing. As a real estate agent, you will probably meet other people who would make good lenders to you. Private lenders, hard money lenders, that sort of thing.
That's the key, is expanding that network while you're moving forward. Yep.
Yeah. Most folks, so you hear this all the time. Your network is your net worth.
Yep.
There's some truth now at real estate networking events. It's not there.
No.
That's that's kind of the dirty secret, is that most real estate networking events are 97% of people that don't do anything.
Yeah.
So those are not the people you need to be networking with. So who do you need to be networking with? You need to be at professional real estate groups.
Yep.
You go to your CE classes. You go to your mixers. It's all that sort of stuff. It's networking outside of real estate.
Right.
So, yeah, this whole idea, I go to, 6 networking events a week. I'm going to find all the money deal. Yeah, I was just as broke as you. And you're like, oh, yeah, maybe we could partner up and
JV, yeah.
JV, like we could do a joint venture because we both don't know anything about real estate. We're both broke. So surely we're like going to crush it because we're going to post some, motivational stuff on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, that's not going to work either, dude. Like, one of my favorite things Grant says is, you're in the position that you're in using the best think you've got. So the best thinking you've got you where you are now.
And it's such a hard truth.
Oh, it's terrible, right?
It's a hard truth.
Blows the ego. But we're like, no, you don't understand. I'm abundance mentality. I'm like going to positive mental my way out of this. I'm like, no, your best thoughts and your best skill sets have gotten you to where you are.
Yep.
You need to make some changes. And what do those changes look like to be successful in real estate?
Yeah. I mean, that was my epiphany, right? Mm-hmm. I'm down to $6,000. I'm driving down to 405, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to do what successful people do. I'm just going to follow that model.
It's no more difficult than that.
And had I done that 6 years prior, I wouldn't have been in the mess I was in. Yep.
Yeah, the other thing I always find fascinating too is when you get these folks that, their businesses are really complicated. I'm like, if you can't explain that to me on a bar napkin,
right,
and it takes more than a minute to write it out, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Like, even if you look at Tesla and SpaceX, to bring this back around to Elon, their business model is actually pretty simple. Most people, you know what their business model is? Be 10% better than everybody else.
Yeah, that's right.
That's their business model. Yep. Be 10% better than everybody else. Now, you add that 10% up year after year after year after year, and you get self-driving cars that don't require gasoline.
Right. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate Organization, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, if you want to get a hold of us, check out our new website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr., TX is in Texas, RE is in realestate.com. If you want to get a hold of us and text us about the mastermind or some other questions, you can go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. Text